one of the first ones out of the pantry to start serving. I had a tray of drinks. And I walked into the Red Room. And the first group of people that I saw was Ray Charles, Vin Scully, who was the voice of the Los Angeles Dodgers, and still is, and he's one more year. And then there was Lou Rawls, and I don't know how many of you remember Hugh O'Brien, the actor. Those are the first four people that I saw. So you can imagine what kind of a function this was. You know, Reagan with his ties to Hollywood, it was unbelievable. Johnny Carson and Ed McMahon were there, and Bob Hope, and Frank Sinatra, Jimmy Stewart, Wayne Newton. It was just an incredible array of Hollywood stars. And I'm not much of a celebrity watcher, but even I was pretty in awe of all this. So at one point, word came down that the President and Mrs. Reagan were going to make their entrance. So everybody started lining up in the foyer, waiting for them to come down. Now, what happens is there's an elevator. The President's elevator is right off the usher's office. So they would come down the elevator, and there's just a little small foyer. They would make a left-hand turn, walk through the foyer, walk through the doors, and then make a left. To the right would be the state dining room, and then you make a left, and you have the red room, the blue room, the green room, and the east room. So they came out, and they walked down the foyer into the east room, and everybody, followed them. But there was one couple that stayed back. They were standing in front of the state dining room, and it was Tony Bennett, the singer, and his wife. Well, they didn't know that I happened to be just standing right behind them. So they waited for the President and Mrs. Reagan to go into the East Room and everybody else. And then they started walking down the hallway. And so Tony put his arm around his wife, and then she put her arm around his backside, and then she reached out and pinched his bottom. A great moment in White House entertainment. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the